Hello. I think I'll get kick started now. I'm sure other people will kind of dribble through as we or as I introduce and kind of get started. Thanks for coming along today. It's going to be a cool session today on how to maximize your Futrli account. So we're going to be looking at a variety of different aspects of how we can do that, all the kind of support material, everything that is available that you might not be aware of. Obviously, for those that don't know me, my name is Sam. I head up the account management team here at Futrli. Yeah, I've been doing these how-to webinars now for a good few months actually. And this is kind of a new syllabus, I suppose, a new one that's looking at, like I said, all the different material that is available to you. There's going to be a new series that I'm going to kind of publish next week. So certainly keep an eye out for that. I will send out a recording of today's session, so you'll have this probably sent out tomorrow morning. So certainly you should have that and any material that I cover, so any links and things that I go through, I'll put that in there as well, just so you've got everything at your fingertips. We've got the full hour, but you probably won't need the full hour. I'll just book it in just so we've got it if we need to. It might be maybe 45 minutes or so, but we'll have time for me to kind of cover the points that I kind of want to and have outlined, and then we'll have time certainly for a Q&A session as well at the end. So certainly feel free to use the Q&A box in Zoom. I'll probably come to them at the end, but by all means, if you see something, then just ask the question and then we can go through that. So yeah, like I said, today's session is on how to maximize your Futrli account. So I'm going to cover a few points. First, we're going to kick off with how to get the most out of our help options. So things like people like me, so your account manager or your specific account manager is obviously a great person to speak to. Roundtable, which is a great kind of option to talk among peers, which we'll come on to. Support team, as well as peer as well, our social community. So yeah, getting the most out of your help options will be kind of point one. Point two is going to be maximizing your tech stack, with our partner apps. So obviously we've got a few partners in the ecosystem, so I'm going to make you aware of them if you're not already, because that can really, like I said, help maximize your tech stack with those guys. Also, to use all the features in Futrli Advisor. So there's many features, as I'm sure the majority of you are aware of, but I'm going to cover off all of them. The alerts, formulas, printer reports, just go through each section really, so there's a good overview really, just so that everyone's aware. Because for example, I was doing a session on management accounts using Futrli Advisor, and I was building them in the printer report section, and some clients didn't know that that printer report section even existed. So it's certainly good to cover off everywhere, because there's lots of things you can do in there. So it's certainly worthwhile just covering them off, because you might be working in some way and just kind of forget there's a feature available. So yeah, that's point three. Point four, we're going to look at an example of a white labeled account. And the benefits that can derive. So white labeled meaning you put your branding over Futrli if you want to take that service up. So that's a really good way to kind of maximize your account. Also getting yourself certified, so going through our certification. That's point five. And then finally, maximizing the potential of both Futrli Advisor with Futrli platform, so Flow and Predict. So we're going to have a look at how they work alongside Advisor and how they can work independently, just how they can really have that full Futrli approach, I suppose. So yeah, that should be all the points. So as I mentioned, do drop any questions as we go along, but I will share my screen. Effectively what we're going to do is just have a look at a few links to begin with. So I will share my screen and hopefully you can see this. So firstly, like I said, maximizing your Futrli account is kind of taking advantage of your account manager. So certainly I can see some familiar faces on the attendance list today. So you'll know that I'm your account manager, but we do have other account managers here at Futrli as well. So you will more than likely, if you are a partner of ours with an accounting practice, have an account manager. So certainly reach out to them, because we're able to have kind of one-to-one sessions, one-to-many sessions as well, so sessions with your team. As well as your account manager will be keeping you up to date with various things going on at Futrli. So if we've released a new update, or if there's a new article that might be of use, Make sure that your account manager knows that you're kind of a key user, or even if you are the key user, who should be notified in your team, because your account manager can keep them up to date with whatever is relevant. I think certainly making the most of your account manager is really important, because hopefully we can add some value and just really help as much as we need to, and we'll structure it around how you need to work. So yeah, that's kind of point one. And off the back of that, I mentioned the Roundtable. So this is a session that my colleague Ron runs, and has been really successful. It's effectively we get some accountants around a virtual roundtable, and just kind of discuss ideas. At the moment, we're having a subject of kind of problem solving. And we had a really good session yesterday with some kind of great people in the space, talking around various things, from getting support overseas to what Futrli I've been doing, and just being able to discuss it. So again, if you're in contact with your account manager and the roundtable sounds like a really good kind of option for yourself, and just let us know, and we can certainly put you down for the next one. They kind of run normally every 2 weeks, and last week we had a record amount of people on there, so the interest is certainly growing, and just like I said, a great way to kind of talk among your peers in a kind of a safe space, I suppose, over Zoom. And then what I'm looking at here is our help center. So we've got a help center for advisor and also for platform. But it's a really good way to get support, and I'm looking at the advisor one here. So as you can see, it says help.futrli.com. Certainly worthwhile putting that in your favorites, because I think pretty much all of our websites are a word which correlates with the kind of support material or whatever you're looking at, and then .futrli.com. So you'll see when we log into advisor, it'll be app.futrli.com. When we log into platform, it'll be do.futrli.com. So if you just whack help.futrli.com in your favorites, you'll then have this kind of ready to go. You'll see there's nice little sections which we can just scroll through, and we can click on formulas, for example, and then we'll then see everything we need to in the formulas. But it is also really intuitive as well, this search function. So if we type in here, what should I type for? Forecast. Ooh, I can't spell it right. But even if it didn't, like I said, it is a fairly intelligent search function. It then pops up with everything here. Or you could do things like prepayments. You can see I've searched for that before, and it will come up with a nice article there for us to help to forecast prepayments. So ideally, really, if you do have an issue with advisor, or you want to kind of understand how to work through an example, whether it be forecast related or just literally anything in advisor, alerts or anything, probably worth coming to the help center and having a little look, because more than likely there's going to be an article on it. There might even be a video on it as well. So we've got some really good videos in the video section, and they can really help and kind of get quickly up to speed. So yeah, certainly use them, because even if you've been through how to do prepayments before, you might miss a step this kind of second time or something. So yeah, help center should, I would recommend, be a first port of call with any maybe issue that you might have, because you can work it through there. And then off the back of that, we then have the support team. So obviously you've got your account manager to be able to reach out for any issue you might have, but we do have the support team, and they're probably your next go-to for any technical query or any sort of issue within your advisor or platform account. So you'll see within your account, you'll have this little chat window at the bottom right, that little pink circle. You can also access it, as I am here, from the help center. And you can then chat with these lovely guys. You normally probably speak to Nathan. He is kind of the main support guru. And we've got Matt just behind him. He's head of support. So probably speak to those two mainly, but we also have Hannah on there as well, our CEO. So certainly you get a kind of a collective approach from the support. And yeah, certainly you'll see there, it says response within a day. That's just to kind of, in a way, manage expectations. So response times are incredibly quick, and yeah, hopefully you can get some real good support there by just simply send a message, and you can then ask them away. And you can upload attachments as well. So if you're working through, let's say, a report that you can't figure out how a formula is not loading or something, or it's kind of chucking up something that doesn't look quite right, you can just take a quick little image, attach the image, and then send it across. If you are messaging support about anything, it's really useful if you could be as precise as possible. So saying which organization you're working on, what report, what's the name of the report, just so that Nathan and or Matt and the team can really jump onto it as quickly as possible. So yeah, making use of support is a fantastic way to kind of maximize support around you. So I think that pretty much concludes point number 1. Actually, no, it doesn't. I'm looking back at my list. We've got peer. So peer, as I mentioned, we do the kind of live roundtables, which is a really good way to talk to your peers. But we've also got peer, which is our social community, really, an exclusive social community that is free to join. Effectively, it's to have a comparison, I suppose, kind of like LinkedIn, but without the selling, and with some really useful content that you can use. So as you can see, probably the best content on here is the how-to series with yours truly. We've got all the recordings in here. So it is a fantastic way. If you have maybe missed a session with me, you can certainly have a look and just load it up. Alternatively, there is other maybe arguably more useful stuff in here. If I go to the home screen, we can then have a look at all of this. And effectively, just to, I suppose, take a step back, what peer is a social community where Futrli users, non-Futrli users, accountants, business owners can just share ideas, talk about kind of current affairs, talk about Futrli related things, offer support, reach out for help, and just have a safe space to kind of do that really, and really engage with clients. In addition to the discussion points, so let's go into Futrli Hub. You can see here it's kind of just like a chat kind of page in a way, where you can just scroll through and then message whoever it needs to be. Kind of maybe it'd be a question for an accountant, like talking about a release, or I know that people have asked about, can we do certain things in Advisor? You can certainly ask those sort of questions, and also in the various rooms, engage with other business owners and really offer support, and see the way that takes you. It is certainly a strictly no selling space, but it's a really good way to kind of get your support out there, get your brand out there, and also then take advantage of maybe the extra resources that we've got, whether it be, like I said, the recordings of videos or blogs. We've got in here as well, just recently sent out a predict kind of marketing pack. So certainly we've got all the material available is going to be in peer. So certainly get yourself set up on that. This started now a few months ago, and we're really getting some great numbers on there. I think we're now over 1,000 people on there, which is fantastic, and certainly that should kind of climb as we kind of continue it. So yeah, peer is that. So that's peer.futrli.com. So like I said, a word, then .futrli.com. Free to join, and a great way to talk with peers, whether it be us, business owners, accountants, whoever. Cool. So that is, yeah, getting the most out of our help options. So point number 2 is maximizing your tech stack with our partner apps. So we've got a few partners, and I'm going to walk through a couple of them. So firstly, you might be aware of Clarity. So Clarity are a firm which can really kickstart your advisory journey, and it can be that starting point to understand who in your client portfolio maybe would require advisory services, and then they will help you kind of expand that out through the firm. Certainly you can see this is just on their page as to why kind of Clarity. If I just scroll through their website, you can see again they connect with Xero and QuickBooks, because they then take your data and can analyze who maybe needs support, and you can do some kind of really cool introductory bits to advisory. We can see here some current clients of ours, like Graham. He's one of my in my portfolio, working with Clarity and Futrli has really kind of helped his firm kind of reach the next level, I suppose. So certainly take a look at Clarity. It's a like I said, a fantastic addition to your tech stack, arguably. And if you want any further information on clarity, then do certainly let me know. We've got we catch up with them regularly and got a direct communication channel. So certainly I'm happy to kind of help out in any way I can. So get in touch with myself, whether it be clarity or receipt bank. So I'm sure the majority of you have already got maybe receipt bank or some sort of receipt processing tool in place. But certainly if you don't, then you should, because certainly this is going to be a great way to get good data in. So Receipt Bank are another partner of ours, and this is our kind of co-branded page on their website. And it's all about, because Futrli obviously works best if you've got good data. So Receipt Bank is all about good data. So they help the good data go in, we help take the good data out and really start to present it. So obviously, I'm sure, like I said, the majority of you are going to be aware of who Receipt Bank are and what they do. But if you want any further information on how Receipt Bank works, or even the different packages they've got, because I know that they've got some different ones for maybe different levels of support you need and different ways that you can work with your clients. Do let me know again. I'm happy to kind of set up those discussions and take it from there. Perfect. So that is the tech steps. So next, we're going to jump into a bit of overview of all the features in Futrli Advisor. So go to Futrli Advisor. We can see here, again, just to remind, app.futrli.com is the login. So definitely worthwhile pinning this. I know that our website has been updated recently, and certainly we're hearing it's slightly confusing to log into the various products that we now have. But all we need to do is just favorite app.futrli.com, and we can then log into Advisor. So I'm just going to log in here. Cool. Got that in the end, although my internet's going strange there. Cool, so this is obviously Advisor, as I'm sure the majority of you know. We're just going to run through each of these tabs, just to ensure that you kind of know what they all do, really. So this is the live dashboards. This is the first tab called the boards. This is where you can then build out a live interactive report. So we can then effectively build whether it's a table or a chart, and really help present it in an interactive fashion. You can also invite your client in to view this dashboard. So when we talk about white labeling in a sec, that's a really good way to add that extra wow factor, because when your client logs in, they'll see a fully customizable and tailor-made report for them. So when you're building out a live dashboard, we can build things out like this, where we've got how many days it's taken to get paid and so forth. And when you're then speaking with a client, which maybe now is going to be over Zoom or Teams or whatever, a bit more than face-to-face, it's a really good way that you can share the report, you share your screen rather, use presentation mode, and really just kind of jump through the numbers and the text and whatever it is that you've built on this report. This makes it a bit more, I suppose, interactive and a bit more punchy, arguably, than maybe a printed report could be. But we can also print it out in a printed report. So that's the next section. Actually, your printed reports. This is more of your traditional management pack. We can present the same data in both the boards and the printed report. But it's simply just, do you want it to be a live report that's on a computer that you can share your screens and your client can log into? Or maybe you want a more traditional approach. Maybe your client just wants to be emailed it. Maybe you want full control and not for them to log in. We can then build out something like this. This is I put in here like an advanced management accounts, something I built out on a recent webinar. And it's a great way to then use like a template from client to client, and a report that can really elevate maybe what you're already sending out from Xero or QuickBooks, or maybe if they use an Excel model. So this is a cover sheet, and this is an executive summary. So like key findings that you could put in. These are just text boxes which you can edit. We've then got like a profit and loss page. Again, fantastic way to elevate it. I was speaking with another accountancy partner of mine earlier today, and So just taking a client on board that used to be just receiving a profit and loss as their management accounts, simply just the profit and loss, which is pretty crazy. So with Futrli, we can then start to add those visuals on top of it and really pick out those trends and speak to those small business owners that would maybe kind of respond better to that way of presenting data. This is like a balance sheet page. So certainly, obviously, people are going to be concerned about their bank maybe at the moment. Cash is certainly important. A KPI page. All this is customizable, obviously, within Futrli, as I'm sure you're aware. And we've then got like a forecast cash flow at the end of it. So yeah, certainly making use of the printer reports is a great way to build a set of management accounts, save it as PDF, and then you can email it out to your client. So yeah, certainly a good section, I suppose, in Futrli Advisor. The next section is the forecasting tab. This is where we can then build out those insightful budgets or forecasts. So all we need to do is here, we've got a list of all of your clients. We can click new on any of the clients. You've then got options here to build out a forecast. So create from scratch, that's building one out as a blank canvas. Create from CSV import, so you're going to upload one that you've already created, or you're exporting, or you've been given one, for example, you can upload it. You can copy one that's in Futrli already, and you can build one from last year's actuals. So this time I'm going to actually use the create from scratch. If you then click new, I'll give it a name here, just call it scratch. I can spell quickly, there we go. 2 year, but you can do anywhere to 10 years. You can change the start date if you want to, or just click build. And then we can then see here, the scratch has then built out a forecast, but the profit and loss is completely blank. And the balance sheet is obviously a cumulative balance of the previous month. We can see the financial year total there, but then all we need to do is just open up any of the categories and start to add in the forecast for that particular account. So certainly get used to the different methods. As scratch would be useful when the forecast is going to be quite different to last year, for example, or you can use last year's actuals because that's a good basis to go from. It really depends on the structure of that forecast you're building out. So obviously, in these times when things are changing so often, forecasting is arguably ever as important as it ever has been. So getting familiar with this section can really, I think, provide some extra value to your clients. Cool. The next section is the formulas. So this is a formula library of a load of pre-built formulas. So you can see all of these in here, which come preloaded with everyone's account. We can click on it and we can then see how that formula has been built out. You can edit the formulas here by just taking out features and creating a copy and just amending it however you want to. Or you can add your own, as I have done here. So down here, I've kind of created customer growth rate, which is using non-financial data, I believe. Yep. And we can then build your own formulas in. So when you build a formula, you can then click on the copy the formula library, and it will then appear in this library for you to then use again. Whether you want to come into the library and have a look at them, or you just build it out on a report and then type in the name of the formula you've created, and it'll be there. This is just the bank of your formulas. So you won't necessarily need to come to this section much, and just kind of where it stores it. But certainly this is where you can come in and edit them and kind of do some tidying up if you need to. So yeah, certainly the formula library is a great way to have a look at what you've got available, and you can use that in any report or forecast that you're building out. And then we've got the alerts. So the alerts are a fantastic way to track anything in the chart of accounts or any formula. Interestingly, it's not loading. My internet is on. Hopefully this loads in a second. Let me hit refresh. If it does load, the alerts are a great section. Effectively, what they do allow you to set up, whether it be a bank account alert. So maybe if your client's bank account is approaching its overdraft, you can set up an alert. So if it goes over that limit, you'll then be notified. Okay, it's not wanting to play ball here, is it? Let me just see if I can go back to the dashboard. No. Interesting. I've broken my Futrli account. Okay, let me just close that down entirely, and let me see if I can just open it back up again. Okay, cool. So turn it off and on again. Seems to be working. Interesting. I have an issue all day with my Futrli account, and then today it does have a little issue. Okay, we've got there with the boards. Let's go back to the alerts. Let's see if this loads. Maybe just the alerts. I just want to do alerts, but we could talk through it. Effectively, it would load here, and we've got the add new button at the top. This is where we can then create an alert, such as here. So this is loading, which is good. And this is where you can then build out an alert for anything in your chart of accounts or any formula. So like I mentioned. So here, we can select your organization, and you can then build a bank account alert, or maybe an income alert. I think a bank account is a really popular one. But certainly set maybe 2 to 3, 4 alerts per client. And you can then really start to stay on top of what your clients are doing and use that as a foot in the door, really, and be proactive with those clients. So, oh, there we go. It finally loaded. Must be mindset. So that's the alert dashboard, of which you'll see everything set up, and you can take it from there. Then we've got the organizations. This is where you can then see all of your clients that are connected, and ultimately you can then connect up other clients as well. So by clicking add organization, you can then connect up with whether it be a Zero or a QuickBooks Online or a manual client or consolidation, and really start to work it through them. We've then also got the users. This is where you can then set users. I don't have any users in my account at the moment. It is just me. So you can then manage who's logging in. So whether it be a colleague or whether it be a client, you can certainly just click add user, and you can then type in the details that you need to correlate to that person. So when you're inviting someone in, you can add them into a particular organization or a particular board. So you can be really precise with what they see. Cool. So that's the overview of Advisor. So hopefully you kind of know how to use all those features, and obviously just let me know if you have any kind of questions over all of that. Next bit I wanted to talk about was getting your account white labeled. So I kind of touched on it a bit. As you can see, this account is kind of just the standard colors that will be loaded on your Futrli account. But if I stop sharing my screen, what I'm going to do is share the example white label that I have as a PDF. So hopefully you can see this here. And now we are looking at an example login page that yours would be. So you'll see that kind of that looks familiar. It would say Futrli there, and it would say welcome to Futrli, and it'll be in the colors of Futrli. But now we've changed it into my example company, my example colors. So I'm a Stoke City fan, for those that know me, and this white label is meant to reflect Stoke City. They play in red and white, hence why it's kind of red orientated. But you can see there, it'll be your logo, so your business, and there's welcome to Sam Scale Limited. So that will obviously be welcome to the name of your firm. So if you're then inviting clients in, they can then log into a tailor-made kind of login portal. Then when we go to the kind of dashboard, we can see it's obviously the same structure, but we've now put your branding over it. So we've changed all the colors. Literally every color in Futrli can be amended. The logo at the top left is now your logo. If you then go into in the report, you can now see all the charts and the table, everything is just reflecting of your brand. So it's a really nice way to have Futrli as your brand kind of extended onto Futrli. So you just kind of remove Futrli from the discussion, and it can really be a nice addition to your account. It is an additional service, but certainly let your account manager know, and they'll be happy to discuss that and get that set up. And I'm sure yours will look a little bit more tasteful than my Stoke City example. Cool. So that is the white labeling. We also then got certification. So certification is a fantastic way to get certified. I don't have a screen to share necessarily on this. This is just a way that you can go through your online certification and get kind of trained up. So certainly let me know if you haven't gone through it, or let your account manager know. I think a lot of you on the call have already been through it, so that's absolutely fine. But if you haven't, then Get It Certified is the kind of the main theory, I suppose, that you'll need behind what to do in Futrli, whether it be platform or advisor, but kind of focusing on advisor, I suppose, and also then how you might deliver those services. Once you then completed it, which takes a few hours, you then get a certificate, which you can frame on your wall, and you can also get a logo you put on your website and so forth. But the main thing, I suppose, is that you'll then have the base theory to work with Futrli. So it's certainly worthwhile going through certification if you haven't already, because that's the kind of base theory that you'll need behind using all the tools effectively that we talked about. Cool. And then finally, we're going to have a look through how to maximize both, like I said, advisor with Futrli platform. So Futrli platform is our intuitive plug and play solution, which is, if I skip over to it, different login, it's do.futrli.com, like I said. So we are sticking with that theme of something.futrli.com. So I'm going to log in here. And what this is a solution for maybe different clients you might have connected on Advisor. So the reason why we built out platform, for those that don't know, is that we have effectively within a normal accounting portfolio, maybe your top clients are going to benefit from selling management accounts, detailed strategic discussions with you presented in the forecast, and that you can deliver an advisor. And we saw that that's fantastic for your top 10, 20% of clients on average. For your other clients, they need something maybe a little bit more plug and play. Maybe they're a bit smaller, not as financially savvy, but us and you guys certainly as financial experts can see that they need something extra. They need something to protect themselves from what might be around the corner. They can use a tool like Futrli platform to really navigate those elements that might be chucked up, whether it be monitoring their cash or looking at their customers and suppliers, and ensuring that they can plan correctly, they don't go under, they can really start to see what's around the corner and have that early warning system. So this is an extra tool that you can certainly give to that 90% of your portfolio that needs something extra that might not be quite ready for that top tier. But they might also be in that top tier and they want something extra to navigate in between those meetings. So you could have advisor for that kind of strategic monthly discussion that you have with them, but then platform, whether it be Flow or Predict or both, it can really be used by the client to navigate between those meetings and ensure that they can stay on top of things the moment it happens. So this is Predict. But what we're going to do is have a look at Flow first. So if we jump into Flow. So Flow is like I said, a customer and supplier cash management tool. What we're looking at here is an action feed. So this is one of your clients. This is Josie's florist. So we're going to imagine that Josie is your client. And she can just scroll through and see all of these notifications in her Flow account. It's ordered by priority. So at the top, we've got the most urgent issue, and we can then scroll through to other areas. So things like over 30 days, you've raised 30,000 worth of invoices, you've got quite a bit outstanding, and we're predicting that 2 customers are going to pay you late. We can then jump into these notifications by clicking Show Me Who. We can then go into Flow In. So this is in Flow In, and it's a full breakdown of Josie's customers. We can then see a load of pre-built kind of KPIs and analysis, such as average days it takes your customers to pay you. And obviously, as you can see here, everything's pre-built. So Flow and Predict also, it does the heavy lifting for both the client and also for you guys as the accountant. Because not only does that client maybe would prefer this solution because they're not quite ready for certain management accounts, or they want it in addition to it, they are going to be maybe time poor. They want something that is kind of built out straight away for them. And you as the accountant, it's not going to be feasible to roll out a set of management accounts for, let's say if you've got 200 clients in your portfolio, we certainly can't build out a management accounts that's really detailed and precise for every single one of those clients. So this is why it's kind of a win-win solution that we can provide to that client, that Flow and Predict does the heavy lifting for you really. So down here in the unpaid invoice detail, we can see all the invoices that are outstanding. because we've integrated with a insurer called Hakodo, we can see credit scores, which is really important, I think, in these current times. And we can also click to get a quote. So we can click to get a quote to ensure this particular invoice from not receiving payment. So if the invoice is outstanding, we can then insure that for a very small premium, which is between 0.5% to 2%, I believe, of the invoice value. And then Hakodo, if this invoice isn't paid on time, I will chase for payment. And if it isn't paid, Hakodo will then pay that client the invoice there. So you can really ensure on a particular invoice level, which I think in these current times when things are so uncertain, that can be really powerful for your clients. We can then scroll through a load of other pre-built important information or useful information, average sale, total revenue. We can then see customer ranking, so how dependent we are on certain clients. So maybe we want to have a look at Four Seasons Hotels. This is Josie's biggest client, 28% dependent. We click on that client and then break down that particular client. So we can see over the last 3 invoices and the last 10 invoices, they pay in 44 days, so quite consistent. So their risk is quite low. So they're paying quite quickly, and it's not too bad. However, they are their biggest client, so 28%. So maybe this would be an example where Josie might kind of ask you guys for a bit of support. So maybe I might give you a call or raise in a meeting that, hey, Mr. Accountant or Mrs. Accountant, my biggest client is 28%. I'm quite worried about that in these uncertain times. What can we do to kind of help spread the load, really? Is there anything that we can do? I want to ensure that this client kind of stays on my books, but what happens if they don't? What happens if I lose that client? Can we maybe have a look into that? Maybe that's a forecast opportunity, that sort of thing. So it's really giving that client of yours the tools to navigate their business in between those meetings and really educate them into those better discussions that they can have with yourself. If we then jump back to the flow action feed, we can also go to flow out. This is then all about our suppliers' bills. The same sort of structure as we do with flow in. And we can scroll through and see our unpaid bills and how dependent we are on certain suppliers and how many days it takes to pay and things. So it's really kind of useful stuff. So that's flow. And then within the Futrli platform, we've also got predict. So this is our kind of latest development. And it's a fantastic tool, and it is the first and only hybrid forecasting solution. So by hybrid, I mean combining the direct forecasting of invoices and bills and payments that you would maybe get in Fluidly and Float and so forth. And it's combining it with the indirect forecasting. So that's what Advisor does really good. So using the profit and loss and balance sheet to forecast out the cash flow. And therefore, it's the first hybrid solution that's taking both of those worlds and colliding it into one fantastic plug and play intuitive solution that your clients can use yourself. We've got a tutorial here that will appear for any new user. So again, doing the heavy lifting for you as the advisor. We don't have to kind of teach the client how to sync their data or whatever it might be. It just kind of allows you to give a solution to them without little time invested. And for those that you might not have a look to predict, I'll just have a walkthrough as to kind of how it works. At the top here, we've got predicted cash. So this is obviously a plug and play tool. So you connect up the client and it builds out a forecast. This is what Predict does already for you. So using all of the kind of power and not AI, it's looking at using a kind of specific accounting calculations. It's looking at all the data in Xero or QuickBooks Online, analyzing everything from the profit and loss and the balance sheet, how it impacts the cash, seeing all the journals and the invoices that correlate to it, all the credit terms, and then zipping it back up into one seamless forecast per individual transaction. And at the top here, we can see the predicted cash. So we can scroll left to see the actual data. And then we can scroll right to see the forecasted data. So that's obviously the movement in the bank there. And then if we scroll down to the sales in the accounts, we can see that Josie has 3 revenue streams. So she has the wedding. So she's obviously kind of selling her flowers to wedding clients, corporate sales, so it's business contracts, then also to the shop. So anyone that's coming into a shop and just selling a bunch of flowers to the standard punter. So Fairly standard small business owner, but has the complexity of those 3 different revenue streams. So we're presenting those 3 on the profit and loss there, so we can see how that's going to be impacting from that top level. But we also want to see the cash impact. So we flip across to the cash impact. We can then see that there hitting the bank. So we have therefore the hybrid kind of solution working there of combining indirect with direct, giving that business owner the full business approach and the full comprehensive outlook on their business moving forward. And because we've got the kind of the power of having the indirect with direct, that means that the accuracy is really there. It means that we're looking at everything that is going to be affecting this business. So if we go to the financials, where we can see the profit and loss balance sheet and cash flow here in a traditional table form. If we go to the balance sheet, we can see the accumulation of VAT. So if you're just looking at cash, for example, we're not going to be understanding exactly how VAT is going to be accurately working. But Predict is able to look at everything in a business and therefore accurately predict out VAT and any other tax that might be in there, or any other balance sheet movement, or any other kind of cash movement derived from those 2 other areas. So it's a really nice way for your client to then stay on top of what might be around the corner and then plan accordingly. If we then go to the home screen again, accuracy is certainly important with us with Predict. And if we open up wedding sales, minimize the little tutorial again, we'll see that we've got this Futrli Predicts here. So this is the forecast that's automatically built out from looking at all the data and then starting to kind of forecast out from that. But we can click on any of the numbers and it will tell us how it's been calculated. So we can really understand what exactly each number is saying to us and where it's come from, why it's been built out. So again, that client that you've given this solution to isn't going to be kind of weighing you down with needless conversations about, I don't understand this number, what does it mean, doesn't look correct, or whatever it might be. We can really just allow Predict to kind of do that for us. And then if we go into the invoices section, we have the control to have a look at any invoice that might be outstanding in that in Josie's account, for example. So we've got the due dates that are stipulated within Xero. You can then just change those due dates accordingly, and we can then exclude and include items. So if Josie's really staying on top of things, if an invoice is changing date or she knows it's going to be paid later or whatever, she can amend it, and then she can then see how it's going to impact her cash. Sticking with the control piece, I suppose, she can also add on her own predictions. So you can add a freestyle or repeating, so it's repeating fixed amount, or you could do a unit based, so you're calculating based off units. So put in here, let's go flowers. So maybe Josie is going to forecast out a new revenue stream for flowers. Pop up in a sec. We're going to now do a selling price, maybe like £5 a bunch. We're going to sell 100. And maybe it's going to go monthly, but we're going to end it maybe end of the month because we're going to have a price change. We're going to sell it as £10. I'm going to sell 250. We can then do the cash impact. We can split the payment days, or we can do same cash, same day. Click update. We can then see it populate all the way through there. So it's giving that business owner of yours the control to be able to plan and really see what's around the corner, and therefore better protect themselves so they can stay on top of things and ensure that they do have a healthy business, and ultimately then drive better discussions. So then they can be maybe more receptive when you have that advisory discussion that could be presented in a report with the advisor, for example, or they're effectively just getting a solution that they weren't getting before that might be more efficient than their Excel model, or just more intuitive than just looking at the bank. So yeah, that is Predict. So I think that pretty much wraps up today's session. So that's just, like I said, maximize the potential of both Futrli Platform and Futrli Advisor. So I know I think a question or two came through. So certainly now's your chance to ask any questions that you might have. Obviously, it seemed to go on for 46 minutes. It's fairly long for this session, but I suppose there's a lot of points to go through. So certainly do kind of ask away. So one question here was around pricing of Flow and Predict, and what is the price? So we obviously got the pricing available online, but at the moment we are having a bit of a discount on Flow and Predictive are bought together. There's a 50% discount off, which can then be applied to any clients that you have kind of moving forward. That is a limited discount. So certainly take account of it. It was meant to expire last month. We've extended it slightly. So certainly get in touch if that's going to be of interest. And that therefore makes kind of each Predicts client you connect up about, well, it is $49.50, so about £35. If you are over in the kind of UK. I know we've got kind of viewers from kind of South Africa and all sorts, but yeah, $49.50 for one license, and then that also makes Flow only $7.50. So about £35 English money for Predict, £5 for Flow. So a fairly easy entrance price. If you have a client that's maybe of the smaller size, maybe they want something extra but don't quite think they're ready for the top tier, then Futrli Platform is a great solution to help provide them. Fantastic. Another question is, how do I get in touch with the support team? So the support team you can access via your chat window in your Futrli account, whether it be platform or advisor, just by using the little chat window, check them a message. Or you can also contact them at support@futrli.com. So you can email them as well. So certainly kind of use that. Cool, I think that's pretty much it. So like I said, I'll send out the recording. I'll send out all the material that I think might be useful. But if you've got any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to the support team, your account manager, me, whoever you need. We're certainly here to help. So thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers then.